everyday struggle. It's Thursday, Friday. I'm Nadeska here with DJ Akademiks and Wayno.
Good morning, Des. Good morning, Ak.
What's going on, guys?
Feeling good.
That's been feeling good all week.
Feeling great.
What's going on, yo?
It's like 4 days till vacation. You know vacation, Nadeska's the happiest Nadeska.
Where you going?
To Europe, bro. To Europe. We out of here.
Yeah,
But hey,
international.
I'm with you guys for
Des.
now. I'm happy to be with you, my friends.
I'm cool over that. By the way, everybody in Ireland, Nadeska's coming to visit y'all. Show her a
Ireland.
great time. Actually, I'm going on vacation too.
Where you going?
Jamaica.
Going to Jamaica.
Did you finally get
Of
your
course
tickets?
you're going to Jamaica.
But he goes and stays at the resort. Acts like super Hollywood.
Yes.
He's like,
Bro, for 4 days, I'm not climbing trees for 4 days and coming back to set.
I want to climb a
like
tree.
I'm Tarzan. What the fuck?
I want to climb a tree.
thank you, Wayno, for not judging
like
me. It's cool. Nadeska's Nature Adventure Show coming soon. Stay tuned. In the meantime, let's talk hip hop. So we played yesterday Young M.A.'s freestyle and LA Leakers. They've had some really dope ones recently. We want to play you a snippet of Mickey Facts freestyle and then answer a fan question. Please roll it.
Size me up, y'all small and minimal. I'm double XL, so check the source material. Freshman cover, every metaphor is visceral. Y'all got it all wrong, like eating pork in Israel. Every bar medicinal, 11-year career, so every song residual. Every thought is literal. My wife ring bling like it's Cascade in it. Your bitch off a back page, you in last place living. My man got a lot of guns, he sashay with it. Make a call, had you blocked like Max Payne did it, man. Wait.
Need the Act reaction cam for that. All
Right.
right, so can we pull up the fan question? We're going to do a lot of struggle exchange questions today. So what do you guys consider freestyling these days? And look, there are variations. I guess they want to know, do you have to go off the top? Can it be a written as long as you're not rapping from your phone? Like, what do you guys consider freestyling in 2018?
Well, people haven't been going off the top since, like, not even just recently. That's haven't been happening since, like, the 90s. A lot of people stopped going off the top. I remember Jen, when he was on 106 in Park, remember the battle rapper?
Yeah.
He got a lot of like credit because he went off the top. Freestyling traditionally is going off the top and just rapping about what's going on in the room, what's in front of you. But nobody does that anymore because you got to seize the moment. So freestyles haven't been that. They used to be like that on mixtapes too, like people just having a beat and going off the top. But it changed like mid to late 90s where you had artists just putting together bars and putting it on putting it on an instrumental and calling it a freestyle. So essentially that's what freestyling is today. I think with freestyling, you just have to be able to hold your pocket. No, don't look on your phone.
That's when you get disqualified?
Yeah, that's where you get disqualified. You can't look on your phone. You just gotta be ready. So in today's game, I consider being prepared, having something written, and then when they throw that shit on, you being able to hold it for the whole time that they throwing the beats. Even if they start changing beats up, you gotta be able to flow through it.
All right, Ak, you agree with this assessment?
Yeah, but listen, I've just evolved the term freestyle just to mean just free of style, which means you got some written shit and you could adjust it to whatever beat they throw on.
Okay.
Like, I don't think nobody making no stuff up off the top of that. I can't even think of a rapper.
There's rappers that can still do it though.
There's a rapper who's by black. I'd be like, yo, you don't know me?
Right, yeah, absolutely.
But most rappers, like, a lot of times, like, while I give credit for someone that does it off the top, a lot of times it doesn't come off well polished because you got to be really quick on your feet. And even when it's off the top, you're thinking about things that, you're thinking about like lines that you've kind of used already or little quick flips that you use already that you could keep it moving. So I'm not mad if somebody's a little bit more prepared. Again, you just can't pull out the phone. You know
But
what
we
I mean?
also give people a pass for not being prepared, right? We say some rappers just aren't meant to freestyle,
Some
although we're
rappers
saying
shouldn't
you
do
can
it.
prepare, so does that not change
I mean, it's
it?
a lot of ways to look at it because I feel like the bar for skill is set kind of low. So a lot of kids, they don't really care to even have that skill. Like that's what used to get you popping. That's what got people popping in hip hop. And I'm talking about back to the parks. I remember when I was a kid, you have a cookout, somebody throwing a beat, and whoever was the rapper in your neighborhood would get on the mic and just rap, and everybody be like, oh. That skill set is gone now. And I mean, hip hop, I wouldn't always say it evolves, it just changes. I feel like a lot of people got lazy, and that's why they didn't want to go off the top, or they was like, yo, what if we just write our own shit and then be ready? So now that's what it is, but it's a lot of people that can't even come prepared for that.
Right, who choose not to be
Who
prepared.
choose not
because
to be
it's not
prepared.
necessary.
I'm not gonna lie though, I'm tired of like every rap nigga rapping over the same like 8-10 old ass beats.
Yeah, I'm tired
Rap
of-
over some new shit, man. You get me? I understand we have
Well-
classic beats, but like sometimes You know what I mean? Like, because we feel the beat so much, like, you have to be saying shit. A couple nice little punchlines and the beat fire, like, oh, shit.
What contemporary beats would you pick? Like, if people had to replace the classic 3 great instrumentals from, like, the past 5 years, you would love to hear people rapping over.
I mean,
less, whatever.
I mean, I just want to see variety. I don't want to just say there's, like, a couple from now. Like, I don't even want everybody rapping over the same beats. But, like, there's super dope beats that are out. You know what I mean? Like, Story of OJ is super dope for, like, a freestyle.
That's a dope one. But, you know, I'm tired of hearing people rap over who shot shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, but,
no more Biggie beats. There's a lot of Biggie beats that we
You
rap
get a
over.
6 on the scale as soon as you pick that beat already.
a lot of times, you know, it's not usually the artist that picks the beat. Some people can pick their beats, but usually it's the DJ saying, all right, I'm gonna give you this. And then I like what Sway used to do with the 5 Fingers of Death, where he would just throw on the most random shit and see if you can handle yourself. But I would like to hear somebody rap over like Drake's Lord Knows. I mean, that was a really good beat. Welcome to the Jungle from Watch the Throne.
What a pick, Wayno.
Yeah, that's a good beat to rap over.
Okay.
And shit, I mean, it's just certain shit that
we just want more variety.
We want more variety. I agree with that. We want more variety, but I mean, the skill set is set so low. Like, how are a lot of these rappers that say, "Hey, like the ones that rap like that, how are you gonna even freestyle on radio, you know?
Right.
Now, with them niggas, I never want to see them freestyle. Like, I categorize artists, there's 2 type of artists in my mind. Like, you have the artists where just give me the complete song, okay? Or just, I don't even call what they do rapping, it's they're ad-libbing the beat. The beat's doing the work. Or, and then for some people, like, I think Mickey Fax is one of those people too. Like a freestyle really showcases his talent probably to the highest level. Like, yo, this is what he really does. Right. Like, if you throw somebody else on it who, they make dope songs, but their strong point isn't like punchlines, or, you don't have to be a punchline rapper to freestyle, but that's not your expertise. You know, I don't want to hear them niggas freestyle.
But then it gives us hope that there's artists like Juice WRLD, right?
Absolutely.
Who can make good melodies and then go like an hour long.
I mean, people do judge books by their cover, but you absolutely, he's like the exception to the rule. Like, you couldn't, because if you listen to Juice WRLD's music, you would never think in a million years that he could actually rap. Right. And then when you hear him rap, you like, if you heard him rap, like freestyle, you would never think that he does the type of music that he does. So I think he's a new side of what's to come, but
with Juice WRLD, I want to see him incorporate some of that. Okay, I get it, you can rap, but will you incorporate that into your hit-making abilities? Because your hit-making abilities right now sound like Owl City, just like on some depressed emo stuff.
Right, but then, I mean...
It's so interesting for you to say that.
I love Owl City, though.
Okay.
Fireflies is fire.
Like, I feel like Cordae, like YB and Cordae, like, they had him rap on LA Leakers, they had him rap on Duckworth, Kendrick's joint, and then they switched it to Let's Get It. And he was able to hold both. And he was freestyling. Like, he started saying shit that was going on in the room, or he might have been a little bit prepared.
Either way, we'll take it.
Either way, I'll take it.
Yeah.
I'll take it over putting somebody who has absolutely no business freestyling in that scenario. That's why, you know, we get that conversation about the freshman freestyles, where some of them just absolutely shouldn't do it at all.
Is that really true? Like, if you're a rapper, even if you're not an incredible lyricist, like you're saying, if you have time to prep, if you're like, yo, you have an entire week, sit down and really focus, should there still not be able to pull this off?
Well, I think, like, if I was one of those quote-unquote mumble rappers and I knew that everybody was going to judge me over what I did, I would spend 2 months getting my shit together.
Like, if you're just diligent.
Because if you do it good one time, nobody gives a fuck ever again.
Right.
No, I don't believe that.
Why not?
You know who did it? And I told him, I said, listen, man, you will never be able to prove these niggas wrong. Yachty. Yachty, no,
bad example.
Wait, did he go off one time that we missed?
Yes, he
did.
And
I love Yachty. Like,
Yachty went
really
off on flat because Yachty went up to
when he had to go back to prove himself. Got it.
And like people were like, oh look, they were trying to clown him about him stuttering a little bit.
He was rapping over tipping up for fours.
It messed up a little bit, and he went back and he did a really good job. But and I remember like he picked the Biggie beat to even go over.
Right.
But I remember he even called me and he was like, yo, I've been working on these rhymes for like a month.
Right.
You get me? And he's like, I've been working on my flow. And I said, Yachty, you ain't gonna prove the old heads wrong, nigga. Like, they believe you can't rap, but no matter if you think you're at your peak of your rap ability, they're gonna look at you like, get the fuck out.
Just to play devil's advocate, like, he also at the time, whatever, made the comment that he didn't like Biggie or whatever. There's a lot more tied up in that than just the freestyle. It was.
And I think.
But does anybody, hold on.
But I understand your point, though.
Cut your point, because I knew you got something coming. But Yachty, I think Uzi said it about Yachty, but they were like, yo, Yachty's one of the nicest rappers of this generation. Now, does anybody outside of maybe those few people who believe that, right? Because maybe they've heard a little bit more of him rapping, actually believe Yachty's a really good rapper like that? No. So that freestyle, to me, didn't do much.
Right. But it's the second time.
It's trying to like when people look at you as a certain type of rapper, you're trying to go into you're trying to knock down a door that they don't want you in there.
But what if he had killed it the first time? Like the first time he went up, he had spent 2 months working on his raps and just bodied it the first time. It might have been a different story.
It would have been a totally different story. Now with Yachty, I feel like Yachty caught a lot.
By the way, happy birthday, Yachty. He's 21 today.
He's 21.
Yes.
Happy birthday, Yachty. But I feel like Yachty caught a lot of fucking arrows for these kids today. Like a lot of these kids today, he's a dark-skinned kid with red hair. Nobody took him serious. He wore beads on his head. Nobody took him serious. And Flex was attacking him a lot. Like he was attacking him a lot, and I felt like he pressured himself into that. Now I'm not looking for a kid that was born in '97 like to really dig in on Biggie's music, because I can't tell you the music that was out the year I was born. Now my mom played certain shit, but a lot of shit I grew up listening to was shit that came when she was a kid. I don't know any songs from the year I was born, or who was that most popping artist, because rap wasn't as big as it is now. But I felt like Yachty, he just felt the pressure, like, man, I'm gonna prove y'all niggas wrong. And he didn't do a bad job, but nobody really cared about it. But if he would have did it once, that one time, if he'd have came up there and spit like fucking Cassidy or some shit on radio, nobody would have ever questioned anything ever about him again.
Yeah, I always just look at it, it's a waste of time though. While of course it is true to the core of what the culture is built on, for these niggas, like, they don't, if you're not gonna use that rapping ability in your songs, why the fuck are you going up to rap?
But you think a waste of time?
It's
like
a waste. It's
not.
Maybe it doesn't add anything to Yachty. It's not going to help him sell more, sell out tour tickets, but I wouldn't say it's a waste of time. There's still a lot of people who really appreciate it.
You always want the respect of your peers, and no matter what it is that you do, and with that,
peers are your elders, because I think these guys are respected by it. Like, for example,
but you think there are no fans who care about this?
I think Wildfire's Film is a great example.
Okay.
Nigga could rap, but he know that him exuding his lyrical ability on most songs is not gonna get him to that next level. He gotta make what really his peers are making. You get me? So when he does rap, like for example, like when his name came up in some headlines because like he jumped in the crowd and got like whatever.
Yeah.
He was proving to people that, hey, listen, I'm not just one of those niggas just make that type of music. I could rap. But am I gonna rap all the time like that? No, that's not what is gonna get me on.
That's almost like really unsettling for me. Only because I hate like the fact that we talking about rap and rappers not wanting to be known as rappers.
But I think that also puts a mark on your career, right?
Absolutely.
If you're a rapper who doesn't want to rap, you might be hot for a few years, but if you're a rapper who can make great songs and you could still rap, then you might be here in 15 years.
Okay, I get that point, but you know what? People would feel different, or these new artists would feel different about it if they were seeing people being rewarded for having a high level of rap skill.
I mean, you are highly rewarded for having a high level of rap skill, because.
But sometimes that reward takes time. It takes time. And it doesn't. It's not for everybody too. Because you got to make good songs.
When we talk about now, all right, because a lot of the shit that we see is on the surface. So a lot of these kids, they see success, they see Lil Pump, and they see his jewelry and his cars and his lifestyle on social media, and they may equate him to being the most successful. Like we had the conversation about, like, if you ask an average kid, a little kid, who got more money, J. Cole or Lil Pump?
Right.
What's the first thing you're gonna say?
Of course, Pump.
Lil Pump.
Yeah.
Because of what they can see,
Perception.
right? Now, when you look at all of the rappers, artists who have lasted, I say even the Drake, for everybody that gives him flack about what he does, he can rap, right? Those are the most successful ones. Now, we could fucking make a list of how many rappers haven't lasted over the past 5 years.
Right.
Because, I mean, they had a little gimmick or a little song, and then that shit dies out.
Because trends come and go. The sound of the music changes a lot. If you can't adapt, like, your rapping might be the one thing that still holds you down.
But the rappers that rap always last.
And maybe I'm just playing devil's advocate here. I could name
Always.
on the other hand, I could name a whole list of niggas who could really rap but never pass that stage.
I understand that too. That doesn't mean you're going to be commercially successful.
Right, and but that's, see, what people don't understand about a lot of these artists is their progression is due to who they actually are. It's a lot of rappers that's great rappers that are just dickheads and assholes and nobody fucking likes them. That's why they don't always go where they need to go. It's not that they don't have the ability. A lot of people don't get to see the behind the scenes shit where they come in late, or fucking being mean.
Right, the work ethic is very important.
And that's
You gotta
part of
keep
work
pushing,
ethic. Because
right.
I used to think all the time, every time I would look in the album, you know when you used to look in the album and you see all the shit coming soon, and the shit never comes, you like, damn, the label just must not like him as much as I do. No, it's just not a good person
wouldn't
and not
show
a
up to
good
the
artist.
studio,
Exactly,
you know?
like that's a lot that goes into what this shit is today.
Or perhaps some of these niggas can't make songs. Like some of these
Right.
niggas, like I won't call out certain rappers, but some of these niggas can rap their ass off.
Can't make
They could
songs.
freestyle for 40 minutes.
That's a fact.
Give
Oh,
us
yeah.
2,000 bars.
Yo.
Give us a hook, nigga.
No, but listen, because professionalism, right? That's like basketball players. It's basketball players that in summer, like tournaments, they could score. I seen people score 70, 40, like it's nothing. Put them in an organized game, they can't get 2 points. Because they don't have the intangibles to work within that system. A lot of people want to be rappers and a lot of people want to be artists, but they have no idea that this is a professional business. You got to approach this shit the same way you're approaching buying a house or doing any type of business. And they just think, oh, I'm gonna just rap. And that's not what's gonna keep you in the game. So if if you could do all that little funny shit and you could rap, you're gonna last longer than the person who does the little funny shit, because the last shit phases out. And hip hop is always gonna be based on rapping.
Can we agree on this, Ak? You don't need to be an excellent lyricist to see commercial success, but having both presents longevity.
It's dope, but I think freestyle, like, you don't need to do it, bro.
Now I'm saying you don't need to do it. It just earns you a certain respect.
Unless
and
it's a
longevity.
strong point, avoid it at all costs.
What's good with Lil AK?
Right.
Does he have bars
Yeah, he's dropping some bars September 14th.
that you wrote or your ghostwriter wrote?
Listen, just know they were written.
They were right. Don't worry if he writes rhymes, he writes checks.
And it came from either Nas or Quinn.
It's cool as long as,
hit
yeah,
it
as
already
long as you're
rhymed.
cutting the
It
check
already
and
rhymed,
nobody
I'm
here to
telling you.
judge you.
I'm in my lyric bag, bro.
Okay.
I'm in my lyric bag.
All right,
I'm not gonna lie, man.
All right, so we got a couple more fan questions coming up, but real quick, you know Akademiks loves his numbers, so can you take us through some projections? So we got Slime Language, Queen going into week 2, ASTROWORLD, and Scorpion still going strong.
Well, I just want to preemptively say we should probably wait
Careful.
till Sunday for the real numbers to come out. But Queen, which is Nicki Minaj's album, 4th student album, I believe, week 2 she's expected to do 90,000, which is dope. That's pretty good. ASTROWORLD, 3rd week, 100K, and Young Thug, his debut, Slime Language, an album that.
That we said is a compilation more
Yeah,
than
it's
an
a
album.
compilation more, but still, you know, a lot of people look at it as a Young Thug album. It's expected to do 53,000 first week, and Drake in like his 20th, 30th week, really his 10th, or not 10th,
Eighth
but his
week,
8th
I think,
week.
yeah.
8th week. Yeah, no, he's still selling like 95,000, which goes to show that streaming is dominating this whole thing. For Thug, I'm a little confused about like Thug's trajectory, because being such a great and dynamic artist and one of the artists that has garnered a lot of attention, like he was a troll before 6ix9ine. I don't understand why streaming-wise it doesn't really translate for him to be that popular and the songs only do 53K. You know what I mean?
Well, I kind of attribute that to when you look at his commercial songs, they haven't. And I could be wrong, because, you know, I'm not going to say I know everything about Thug, but I'm talking about in terms of, like how he was maybe 4 years ago when he had the joint with T.I. He was on more shit, right?
Yeah.
Like, when they was doing the Rich Gang stuff, he was on more shit that was, I mean, streaming wasn't as big, but he was on a lot of, like, radio records that no matter where you went, you couldn't get away from it.
Right.
And I haven't heard, I don't listen to the radio much, but it was one point in time where I heard Thug at least 6 times a day. I don't hear him once anymore. You know, and that's traveling around. That's just not one place. So I think it might be the records he's making. I mean, he has a core fan base, but he hasn't had anything that makes people say, yo, that nigga's weird, but I like that song in a long time. You know what I mean?
Because he always goes in directions you don't
Yeah, he goes in a
expect,
lot of
like
different ways.
the country album. Like, you never know what to expect
I'm not
from my
gonna lie,
man.
it doesn't feel like he's like hit chasing.
Right.
Like, he feels like he just makes his shit.
He's like, I woke up today, I feel like doing country, I'm doing this. Which is cool.
But before, when he did it, it didn't feel like. My favorite Thug song is Danny Glover, right? Like, it didn't feel like he was trying to go after radio or anything with that. It felt like him just being him. I haven't really heard those records. Now, he's made dope records,
Right.
but I haven't heard those records that could live in both spaces.
And I wonder
I
how
got
much
a hot take on that shit.
Oh, don't
what was
start.
it? Because I thought it was the behind the scenes. Because again, the video with Leor telling him, like, you have all these songs, you drop them everywhere like kids, and you abandon them, and you don't push any records.
I mean, I do think there's some fucked up shit.
a lot of it is that.
300 and like some behind the scenes shit. But I do have a hot take on why Thug, as great of an artist and beyond even music, why he isn't like standing out like he used to. I believe like some of his kids are in the same lane and they're new, like the Gunners and Lil Baby. Like Lil Baby got a hit every 2 weeks.
Word.
You know what I mean? Gunna kind of, they're derivatives of his sound, and I think it was super unique when he was one of the only ones that had that sound, which also is a derivative of Lil Wayne, but he was like that new shit, right? And now we're hearing more people with it, so sometimes you gravitate to the new.
It's crazy that Young Thug already has kids. Not his actual kids, you know what I mean? His musical,
But
musical
you know what,
kids.
that's because time is moving so fast.
Yeah.
Time is moving so fast. I mean, I've only known a Thug for like 4 or 5 years now, but like to a kid that's 10 years old, that's now 15, that's old. Like he's like, oh Thug, that shit is old. And things is going so fast. It's like every week we got a new kid that we've never heard about, and they got 500,000 followers selling out shows. And I'm like, well, when did this happen?
Right.
You know, but then they get tired of them. But that's why it goes back to the last conversation we was having. If you got a little bit more with you, you might last a little bit longer. Not that Thug isn't, you know?
And I think Thug is such a great of an artist. I think he'll switch his style, just flip it on his head, and he'll get a hit. Kill Before last year, to me, the best song of the year. I need 300 to get behind one of these records and just throw the whole bank book behind it, bro.
Word.
It's definitely not Rocket Man.
Let him
I'll
be
tell you
the.
that.
I was just gonna say, Wayno, it's been 24 hours. I asked them to play it for you again in the studio. Tell me you've reconsidered. Come
No,
on.
I was sick. I heard that this morning.
Ak and I
said,
will
come
listen
on,
to it
man.
together in hair and makeup. It's great.
Yeah,
Come
listen.
on, man.
Y'all got y'all shit with y'all. I got my shit with me. You feel me? It be shit that me and you be in tune on and he ain't, and vice versa.
That's
but
true. That's true.
Rocket Man
To
is
the
not one of
audience,
them.
this is what it's like in the morning with Wayno. You come in,
He's
you know what I mean? My
because he's
man's
about to do
doing
a secret
calisthenics
live.
in the green room listening to Jada Kissing Styles P, bro.
And
Some
Mace.
D-Block
And
shit,
Mace.
you know what I
Oh,
mean?
man.
Salute to
I was listening to Mace
D-Block, of
yesterday.
course. Then he's attempting to like shake the kinks off of his Harlem Shake. Come on, man.
What are you talking about?
That nigga's bringing out his Timbs out of his book bag.
Oh,
You're like,
man,
what?
here he goes.
Every
Here he
New York
goes.
stereotype this guy can
He's
do.
right,
Yo,
exactly,
Yo, you
right?
would think he's
My
from
man's
like.
rocking a do-rag and he don't even got no hair. Like, this shit's crazy, man.
All right, all right, so we got a couple more Struggle Exchange fan questions coming up, but first, some quick hits, starting with Drake. Of course, In My Feelings is a mega hit, but now teachers are actually using the lyrics to promote learning, which is pretty cute. Wayno, would this encourage your kids to learn?
Absolutely. I mean, when we learn our ABCs, we learn them in song. We learn them in song. We learn them in rhythm. If you had to learn your ABCs as a child, it's A, B, C. It'd be more difficult to learn. So I like the fact that they're using hip hop and they're using music to teach children. I mean, that's always been done.
Yeah.
That's always been done. But it's, of course,
That was a
Drake.
deeper answer than I expected. Nah, it's just cool to have teachers who care enough. My teachers weren't that cool when I was growing up.
Mine
There was no
either.
hip hop in the classroom.
I hope the little playoff lyrics that they put on the little bulletin board in school also comes with the read the book challenge,
Oh, yeah,
do
yeah.
your homework challenge. We need those challenges going on, okay?
Be respectful to your elders challenge.
Yeah. Hopefully those are the challenges. And if it's working, shit, who am I to knock it?
Why not?
I will say they're bringing this challenge a little bit too far. I seen a nigga get arrested on some U.S. Marshals bringing him out of the plane. He's doing it on. Like, yo, come on, people are doing this thing a little bit too far, okay? I seen a reverend in church remix it to be on some Jesus, do you love me? And I'm like,
But
chill, bro.
But you know what the thing though?
Drake don't need to ghostwrite none of my prayers.
No, that's so funny as you say that, because I remember like when I was younger and I went to church, like a pastor did that with like songs, because it's a disconnection between elders and youth. So they try to use whatever the kids is into to reach them while they're there. Because
Leave that for Youth Sunday.
Huh?
That's for Youth Sunday.
No, but that's serious. Like it's a good thing to use like song to teach anything. You know what I mean, that's the easiest way to learn, because sometimes learning can be very boring.
Yes.
You know, and if you can get kids to engage, you know, that's a big issue with the way kids learn. You know, if you could get them engaged, especially with song, why not? You know?
Yeah, it's dope. More cool teachers, please.
Yeah.
All right, so in today's installation of rappers doing amazing things, we have T.I. defending an 11-year-old girl who was pulled out of her class for wearing braids and extensions. So this was at a private school in Louisiana, and her brother, I believe, posted a video of her. Can we actually just roll the video?
My daughter got this. Look at my daughter.
I don't want this to happen.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. You don't care.
What's wrong with her hair?
There's nothing wrong with her hair.
Her hair
It's
is
a
fine.
black. Come on.
She has
So this is pretty horrible. 11-year-old girl in tears. They pulled out of class because of her braids. So T.I. wrote this like very, very long Instagram message to them. I'll just read a little part of it. He's basically saying like they're willing to stoop to levels like this just to discourage you on your goals. Don't ever give up. You're great. You're beautiful. You're perfect. And he told his school that they should be ashamed of himself. So shout out to Tip for this.
Absolutely. I feel like, let me be frank, I feel like that's the new way of calling somebody nigga. Like, for real. Like, I think that that's very unsettling, like, especially for a little black girl. Now, we all know, and I'm black. Black women are sensitive about their hair, right? And her hair looked really nice.
Yeah.
There was nothing wrong with her hair, but why is she being singled out? I mean, that's really disgusting. Somebody needs to get suspended, fired, something needs to happen, because when you're judging a kid based on their hair, that's crazy. I came to school one time with a haircut with a Gucci link chain cut in the back of my hair.
No, you didn't.
And dope. No, seriously, I had the word dope written in my hair. I had a barber write dope. And that's when dope was like the most used word.
Keep this one in your pocket for the next time you got Harlem
Nah,
jokes.
real shit. And the teacher said to me, she asked me, she said, is that dope you smoke or dope you sell? I'm dead serious. The teacher said that shit to me when I was in the 4th grade.
4th grade?
I was in the 4th grade.
Holy shit.
I didn't know what the fuck selling dope was in the 4th grade. Like, you know what I mean? But just to say some shit like that, I never forgot that.
Yeah, and this is a private school, so they're
That's
paying
a private school?
It's a private school
Oh,
in
wow.
Louisiana. They're paying a lot of money for this, and like to see a kid in tears over her hair is
but
like,
then the next thing they want to do is, oh, your hair's so cute. Let me touch it. The fuck out of it.
feels like a sheep.
I love how T.I. is just like a hip hop spokesperson and feel like one of hip hop senators, because honestly, most of these stuff, which are sometimes social issues, they're not hip hop in nature, but of course hip hop is a culture that things like that affects us. He's always speaking about it. Like, it was like 2 days before that, he was speaking about a child who was like didn't have enough money for like lunch, and like the person threw the lunch away. So he's always speaking on these issues, and I'm not gonna lie, I like how he has used his platform to kind of reach out to in these communities. And he's not only just typing captions. This nigga's reaching out, and he's trying to make shit right and also cause change. I'm really proud of T.I. for that, because I could imagine in 2003 that T.I. would have turned into this.
Yeah, for real. And I mean, you know, when you see something like this, especially being a father and having daughters, it's just like really, I can't imagine somebody treating my daughter that way.
Right.
Like I would have been, see, that's the point where you want to treat us like that, I'm gonna show you, I'm coming in there flipping over desks and shit, because it's unacceptable. That's unacceptable.
Agree.
You know?
Well, I
Salute
hope
to that little girl.
Yeah, I hope she's better now and never has to go through that again.
Right.
What's the school called? Should we put them on blast? Well,
Absolutely.
Go to T.I.'s Instagram account. I won't do it, but you guys can easily find
Uncle
this
Clifford,
if you
man.
want to.
Let's toilet paper they school, man. I'm down.
All right, and on a slightly darker note,
I ain't say it.
the R. Kelly saga continues to unfold. So one of his accusers spoke to Teen Vogue. Her name is Asante McGee. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. This is a very long article that you guys should go check out. But again, she's just giving sort of her details from spending 2 years with this guy. So here she's saying, look, every time I would need to enter a room, I would have to knock on the wall and like wait for a response. And one time I knocked, no one answered. This sounds so absurd just saying it out loud. No one answered. He walked in and she found him with a woman. So now she had to text for permission to leave the room. It just sounds like something out of a horror movie. That's all. It's like Get Out, the R. Kelly version.
And we let it, this what's crazy is people let this shit rock. You see how we was talking about like the Take K's and everybody else about like does their music change the way that we feel about them personally, right? And this is a prime example because he was rocking for years. I remember seeing a video of him on Apollo, and they was running around with a sign that said, if you want to come home with me, all you got to do is be 18. And they're in their 20s. I can't imagine an R&B singer right now doing some shit like that. You feel me? But we let R. Kelly rock too long, man. Like, shit ain't right over there.
And I mean, people question it, right? They always question, like, when victims speak up, but it sounds very similar to a lot of the previous stories we've heard.
Hey, man, how many stories I got to hear about what's going on at R. Kelly's mansion where he's tying people up? He got y'all looking at the wall like this is like detention. Before y'all realize, don't go over there, man.
Yeah, don't go there.
Now, if you're underage, we need to get that nigga the fuck up on out of here, because that's some real pedophilic type of shit. I don't even know if that's a word, but I had to throw it in there.
Right.
But For everybody else, it looked like everybody else keeps signing up. Like,
what's
what the fuck is going on?
We can't always.
It's not like he's driving around with a little candy truck like, yo, come in here.
Yeah, but you have to understand.
How is people getting in
Think
this
about how people react to entertainers, right? When you see an entertainer in real life, you're starstruck, you believe them, you want to be a part of it. So you have to understand that, like, there's a level of victimization in here.
What's fucked up about all of this is that niggas is still gonna step in the name of love.
Of course they are.
They still gonna listen. At the cookout, they still gonna throw that shit on, and people still gonna listen to it. Until it's they kid.
Nah, I can't. I ain't gonna lie.
That's the thing, you can't erase the
Bumping
catalog,
guns,
but it's
See,
just,
exactly. You feel me?
you just can't support the future music.
My mind is telling me no.
Okay, Wayno, let's move
But
on.
my
Wayno,
body-
chill, man.
My body's telling me
Pause.
yes.
Pause.
That's exactly. Get
Oh,
R. Kelly the
man.
fuck up out. Can we have a segment called "Get Them the Fuck Up Out of Here"?
Yeah, that's a great segment.
Get R. Kelly the fuck up out of here.
All right, he's the first one, honorary member. All right, I think it's time for Struggle Exchange now. We ready?
Let's do it.
All right, let's see what we got first up.
And my question is, why don't you think Gucci Mane's catalog gets put up there with some of the greats?
I love seeing you guys on video. So we have been dancing around the Gucci Mane family tree because he wants his credit, but let's talk about the albums.
I have a perfect answer for it because it's more quantity over quality. Gucci Mane records at a high volume, and he puts out a lot of. I mean, he could drop 15 mixtapes when he was in jail.
Oh,
Did y'all
man.
notice? You know what I mean? Like, did
Yeah.
you notice when he was in jail? No, because he had dropped a mixtape or album
Like every other week.
Exactly, and I think that, you know, he's like a workhorse. He's a studio rat. He stays in there day in and day out. But I think that he produces a low level of efficiency. But the joints that he does make that people love, we can appreciate. But as far as like it overall, is way more quantity than it is quality.
That's a very good point.
I agree. Like, I mean, he has a lot of forgettable shit. And while he's a memorable artist, like, I could probably name like 5 tapes, not songs, tapes that you might be like, what? You know what I mean? You probably never heard him. So, again, and also, I do blame some of his, like, or attribute some of his, like, his label situations over the years. And, of course, his jail situations to why his level of efficiency is so low. Right. So that's the reason why we can't put his catalog up against anyone, because think about it. For most people, we're like, all right, let's rank your first album versus your first album, or your first couple of mixtapes.
Right.
This nigga's dropping them rapidly, man.
place.
Yo, he dropped 3 in like a year, and he was in jail.
It's consistent, but it's not efficient. Like, and because if you had to put them shits in chronological order, I don't even know. I mean, I know where some of them start, but I don't even know like half of them.
You know what's funny? I always have this term where I'm like, I have a hit ratio, right? And I give every artist like a ratio, like ranking, to say, if they give us this amount of songs, how likely is it that we're gonna have the one or a song that's really good?
Right.
And I always said about like Soulja Boy, his shit is really low, but when he does hit, he hits. You feel me? Same with Chief Keef. If them niggas put out a lot of garbage music.
Yeah.
But when they got some shit, that shit fire.
Right. And I think
Gucci is on that scale of being down there in terms of their hit ratio isn't that high, but when they got some shit, that shit is fire.
Right. And with Gucci, I just think that how he's been his whole career, his influence is way bigger than his music. Right, because that's how we get the Gucci Mane family trees and all of that, like, and the flows that other guys have used and flipped and bounced and used, like, somewhat of who he is to create themselves or create that artistry, right? But his influence trumps his music. Like, it's only Bird Print, the first Bird Print. I love the Bird Print 1 and the Bird Print 2. But other than that, I like the State versus Roderick Davis. But he has a lot of forgettable music.
Hey, what I will say is that, and people will probably kill me for saying this because everybody just likes to act like, you know what I mean? They like ignoring what I believe is facts. But I believe now after Gucci came out of jail, I don't think his music has changed that much. I believe now with all the success he's gotten, I think people fall in love with a good redemption story, and he got a great redemption story. He's someone you want to root for. To see somebody fuck it up, throw it away, basically was Nicki Minaj times 10, and then almost reverse it, all while being humbled by the system. You have to root for somebody like that. And of course, his music takes on a new meaning at that point. So I think that's what it is, but he still put out a bunch of shit.
Yeah, he has diehard fans. One of my friends is a
Absolutely.
huge Gucci fan. He would listen to every single project, even if it's 25 songs, just to find the one joint that he's gonna add to a playlist. So
God bless that man's ears, 'cause I ain't got the time.
shout out to my boy Ariane. All right, let's see what we got next.
Everybody knows all these streaming companies make a huge amount of money off of all these artists, and they make this money because of what the artists put on this platform. So I want to know if you guys think that's right, being that they provide a major platform for artists to get exposure, or is it wrong because these companies are just making an insane amount of cash off of this?
All right, this is interesting because we know in the earliest days of the streaming platforms, there was a lot of uproar. Taylor Swift wrote the letter, like, you guys are underpaying, things change. So they're probably still not compensated in what they would consider fair, but he has a good point, especially if you're a new artist. If you get put on one of those playlists, your music can kind of take off. So what do you guys think?
You want to take this one, right?
In terms of streaming and the amount of money that gets made, the labels get a shit ton of money. The artists don't get a shit ton of money. Number one, you know what I mean? A lot of the artists, which I would imagine in the last 2 years that's changed a lot, they understand the importance of streaming and how that revenue will probably help you in your pockets. But before then, like, that shit used to be like some minuscule like percentage that people didn't even care about because it wasn't that big.
Right.
So now I think artists are more aware of it. The labels get a shit ton of money from it. We just don't see what the labels are getting. Spotify and the titles and Apple Music, the money they're getting, again, when you control the marketplace and you become the most important like pillar in like a genre,
Right.
until the labels, I've been saying it, until labels like link up and say, yo, fuck Spotify, fuck Apple Music, fuck them niggas, we about to create our own shit.
That's never gonna happen.
It's not gonna happen, and it's too late. It's too late.
It's too late.
They're partners
It's 60
now.
minutes in, what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
So now it's like, all right, let's license the music to them. And they tried a couple times, like, yo, let's stop. But it's always it's a back and forth of trying to keep the money. Because even Spotify, they're trying to keep the money. You feel me?
Yeah, I think like with everything that's going on, like the streaming and everything, you just got to be ahead on your business. You know what I mean? You got to be ahead on your business because deals is always meant to be renegotiated, and they always can. I think we just got to be a little bit more ahead of the game. There's so many people that, like you said, like with streaming, it was starting to become a thing. They're like, oh, who needs that? Like, you know, who needs that? But in business, you try to sell, you can only imagine what they're getting because you try to get 400% up on whatever the investment is, right? So, yeah, if they're selling a song for $1 or some change, or it gets X amount of dollars per stream, you can only imagine what they're getting.
Right.
The thing about it is you got to make sure that you're on top of your business because there's people who make money from it, but you got to have the right type of legal and work on a certain type of deals. That's why I always tell people to educate themselves before they do any of this.
Right.
You wouldn't sign up for any of a job, like for a regular job, without knowing the terms. Learn those terms, learn everything if you want to be in this shit.
Right.
You know?
And also, if you're thinking about money coming in, right? So just quick math, right? So Apple Music has about 40, 50 million subscribers paid. That's what they say. Paying all at least like $10 a month.
Right.
That's yearly. So every month is like $500 million. Every month, right? Now, if you look at their payouts to like the labels and artists, it's not even half of that. You then wonder what they're doing with it? I'll tell you what they're doing with it. They're focusing on trying to dominate and capitalize on other parts of the market. You'll notice Spotify, Apple Music, they're all doing content.
Right.
They're all, okay, we need all the podcasts. We need all the new shows. We're about to start. They're about to start. They're looking at how Netflix has their thing, and they're looking like, yo, we could create short form or either long form musical-based content,
Right.
and we're going to take over that market. So they're flipping the money and investing and making their company stronger.
Yeah.
It's just at the point where
Do you feel like it ever benefits the artist? So when they flip it into like a Cash Money doc or focusing on a younger artist movement, do those things balance out, sort of? Technically, it doesn't with the money, of course. It's just like, how much do artists benefit off of that exposure?
I mean, yeah, but the only thing is, right, and thank God that Apple Music became a player in like this streaming game, because you have Spotify that's so huge, and then Apple Music. You know, it's like that term McDonald'sization. I
Right.
fucked that up.
Yeah, no, you
definitely.
got it.
But it's like, yo, they're so powerful, and they're making all the money, and they're trying to take over every fucking facet of entertainment. It's like if there's no competitor, like, who's really gonna stand for the artist? And if the artists themselves, they beefing and bickering back and forth, Atlantic rocks with this people, you have UMG, they rock with this, so it's like, it's very difficult to say, but at this point, it's just kind of like a wait and see. We are waiting for the next bubble though, right? Because every, say, 5 to 10 years, the music industry shifts because of technology, just sound moving a certain type of way, and we're trying to see if it just continues in the streaming wave, or maybe a new company comes in, or this new way of how it just interrupts what's going on now.
Right.
But right now, you can't do shit about it.
Yeah, the closest thing seems like new players. So let's see, YouTube's about to drop a bunch of original shows, keep rolling out their music streaming. So we'll see how this unfolds. We have another one. I think this should be really good for academics. Let's check it out.
Hey, Everyday Struggle. This is Dominique. Quick question. Do you think album sales should be private information, where only the label can receive the information?
Okay, now obviously deciding
My man
to
gotta turn the AC on, man. That nigga sweat like a motherfucker, bro.
Maybe it's just bad lighting. He was stressed about the question.
No, man. No,
man. I just lost my thought. It's Thursday, Friday. What was I gonna say?
Somebody said the audio would be bad if you did this. Go ahead.
Yes, it's not like we could wake up tomorrow and be like, cool, album sales are gonna be completely private. But after watching this Nicki Minaj fiasco about #1 sales, what would the world be like if that was just private information for the labels?
Well, I don't think that they should ever be private, only because it's like that's your stats, right? Like that's your stats. Like, okay, it's like watching if you don't get a chance to watch the game and somebody puts up 40 points and they're like, well, you know, we're only counting to the score, but we're not counting every point because unless we're counting assists, that's the only points we're gonna count. You know, like we're not counting individual scores anymore. People gonna be braggadocious, and we just live in a world of numbers. The world was built on numbers, right? Time, dates, whatever. They'll never be private, and I don't think they should be. I think that people need to stop taking everything so fucking personal, right? I look at it like this: if your numbers are down, do the work that's gonna get your numbers up. Stop attacking, and we speaking on Nicki. I'm speaking on Nicki right now. Don't attack everybody for what's not going right with you. You know, so we could never see a time where we're gonna dead numbers, because that if we're not talking numbers, then what do we have to talk about?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, first of all, I love that people or the regular general audience are a little bit privy to it now than before. But be honest, man, yo, these rappers is rapping about all they got. They pricing out their outfit, 10,000 on the shoes, 80 on the pinky ring. Why can't I see your album sales, nigga?
Right.
Like, make it make sense. Make it make sense.
Right.
But that's what that. But in reality, album sales are private. I mean, the company that does it, Nielsen, not anybody could go up there and sign up for it.
Yeah.
You have to be a label, or you have to have some artists that are putting music through with an ISRC code through there that they're tracking their numbers. So it's not an open process, and that's why when you really don't see the SoundScan reports.
Right.
Those get sent to Billboard, and Billboard gives you a nice little 100 list, but they don't even put numbers there.
Yeah.
They don't say, oh, Drake did 7 something, and then #2 did blah, blah. They don't put numbers there. What happened is that we're in this age of information, and the regular consumer is a lot more smarter and tech savvy, and they want to know more, right? They're not just okay with the list or the ranking of 1 to 100. Now they've looked at other companies who have gotten better at tracking sales as well to say, I really want to know what my favorite artist did.
Right.
Now you get the Hits Daily Double, you get, there's a couple other ones, music charts, like they pop up and they start giving their reports, and they're usually almost similar to what Nielsen is. So in reality, and you guys can look it up, Nielsen is the official numbers reporting. It's really an analyst company. It costs thousands a month.
To get that
At least 10 grand a month to sign up for that service. So you're not just popping up there like it's a subscription to like a newsletter, like let me just see what's up. No, because the numbers that we're seeing, that's the least of what you actually get from that chart. It tells you how many niggas on a block listens to what song. Like, you get me? It breaks down what Spotify reports, breaks down what your physical CDs sold, exact amount. That's why an artist knows exactly when to go to tour. Touring companies link up with your labels, or they get the information from Nielsen themselves and says, all right, cool, so we're gonna get a 3,000 venue here, we're gonna get a 5,000 venue here, but when we go to LA, because that's the biggest audience, and they know the spots to hit, we're gonna get it there. It's the same thing with politics. They spend millions on data analysis in politics to know where your strong points are. You're strong in these areas right here. Right. You're weak there. Spend more time campaigning the places you're weak to get your numbers up. Right. That's how it is. So it's music. You get me? So it's everything with Nielsen is in public, but that first week sales, which we gotta blame 50. I'm sorry.
No, absolutely.
he made that such a thing that when we start internalizing what a flop is, we always became fascinated with the term, is our favorite artist or the artist we don't like flopping or doing well.
Right. I just want people to stop judging the work based on the numbers.
But that's part of the problem. It seems like that's not going to change now.
Yeah, it seems like that's not going to change because people is like, oh, well, it sold that. It's like, that don't mean that it's dope. Like, you know what I mean? And people, it kind of deteriorated how people judge a lot of music because I feel like a lot of people write based on the excitement of the package. Now, the package is not wrong, and I've seen a lot of our viewers say, like, it's nothing wrong with giving a physical aspect because we can't hold the music in our hands anymore, right? But I think a lot of people judge off the momentum and only listen to something and say, oh, that shit is fire, it's fire, it's fire, 5 times in one sentence about one song with only hearing 30 seconds of it based on the excitement, like we always say, prisoner of the moment. So I think we're never gonna be in that space where we sit down how we used to and really time consume on music because we have to judge it so fast, we have to critique it so fast, but numbers don't reflect how good a project is.
Okay, that's a nice point to end on. Thank you guys. And thank you for the Struggle Exchange questions. If you guys want to send us more, which you should, the best is to DM us on Twitter at everydaystrug with 2 Gs. Please mention your name at the beginning of the video. We'd love to give you a shout out.
And my man, next time, roll the window down, bro.
Leave my guy alone.
Man, that's my guy, too.
I'm here to defend you guys against this hate.
Looks like he just came from work.
And they kept wiping his face.
Our podcast is also going to be out tomorrow, Friday, everywhere you get podcasts. Check those out. But real quick before we go, I'm curious if Akademiks didn't become a super sleuth internet personality, what would you have done career-wise? Like something with numbers?
Well, I'm a biomathematics major, so I would.
Tell us what that means, Akademiks. People don't know anything about you.
No. Honestly, it would have been like doing pretty much kind of like lab work and just analyzing numbers and data.
Can you guys imagine him in the lab? Just like
I could see Mac working on Wall Street doing accounting.
Yeah, that would have been so boring.
He's a pocket watcher, so
that would have been so boring. I would have had to I do like computers and shit like that and like technology. So hopefully, I think it would have probably been like some type of data analyst position with probably just using technology. You get me? Maybe I would have had, but it would probably be for like cells. You know what I mean? Like counting how many so-and-so cells and ranking their trajectory over millions. I don't know, something like that.
Don't let this guy
That shit is boring as fuck.
But he's smart.
I'm glad I'm here to talk about Nicki's album, the barbs and their feelings, cuss out Drake and Pusha, and talk about all the gossip and sip my tea. I like that.
I don't know what the hell I'd be doing. I just hope that I wouldn't be making as bad decisions as I used to.
What bad decisions? The younger bad decisions.
The younger bad decisions is horrible. So I don't know what I'd be doing. Hip hop really saved my fucking life, like for real. I didn't graduate from high school, and I put myself in
You probably have a sneaker store.
A sneaker store? Maybe. I mean, I don't know. I might still get me a sneaker store. But I'm just saying, like, that put me in position. Like, hip-hop put me in a position.
I love that. He said I might.
No, I've had that idea way before I met you, Akademiks.
He's going to try to curate the collection and fuck your store up.
Yeah, he wants to do the numbers.
Hey, be the numbers man.
It's on camera, right?
Stop
numbers,
it.
Man,
but
numbers,
yeah, I mean, I don't know what I'd be doing. I love what I do.
I'll tell you one thing, though. Like, when I was in college, though, I always had, like, an entrepreneurial mindset to say I always got to do something on the side. I remember I used to be addicted to video games. Still am. Yeah. I play Fortnite every day. But when I was playing video games really young, my mom hated it. Yeah. I started, I figured a way how to make money by, I rented, a dedicated server, and I used to, rent it out to other people, other players and shit like that. I was, flipping. I was flipping, so it kind of instilled in me on some entrepreneurial shit, yo, you should try to make some money on the side from what you love.
Right.
That's probably the biggest lesson I learned.
Right.
Turn to whatever you like, whatever's a passion, get that to make you money.
And you know what I like to tell our viewers, specifically our young viewers, that there's no age limit on the hustle. There's no age limit on the hustle because the first dollars I ever made was taking bottles from like sodas that we was drinking in the house to the stores and exchanging them for nickels.
Yeah.
Then I would sell
Weed.
Kool-Aid. No, stop. I would sell Kool-Aid. I washed cars on my block. Like I did I had a whole like.
And I
flipped on
think
my
that's
son every
important to
day.
say because a lot of people think, again, in the social media era, we feel like success is instant. You're gonna have a lot of bum ass jobs. I've been like standing in like corner stores, like sample some water, please. Like selling shit at Costco. I've had some horrible
at Bed Bath
jobs.
and Beyond. I worked at the Gap. I worked at Fresh Direct. I worked at mad places, yo. I've done a lot of shit, a lot of other things, but.
Stay focused.
And on the flip side of that too, you're never too old for something.
Never.
Yep.
Like I hate when people feel like they missed their chance. Like I always say, if you're not working on your dream every day, do not complain about somebody else who's living theirs.
You could be too old to rap though, to start out rapping.
All right, that's the one career. That's the one career.
That's one career.
I don't know, man. That a nigga named 56 Savage or something like that. He was older.
But what did he ever do? He went viral.
He fell off.
What did he do? Like,
What had he stayed on it, you never know. Could have got a little different audience.
I don't know.
Could have been opening for the On a Run tour.
Yo, a 50-year-old rapper is gonna succeed when Wayno finally likes the Rocket Man remix.
oh,
yeah?
stop. Right. Exactly.
Yo, I 100% believe there could be a 50-year-old like rapper.
A 50-year-old rapper?
I'm ready to see
I mean, there's 50-year-old rapper. There is, wait.
No, I'm not
I'm
saying
talking
ones that
a new
exist.
50-year-old
A
rapper.
new 50-year-old.
Nah, that's
Someone
not
wakes up
happening.
today like,
Memeable, like lovable, cool. I'm telling you, it could work. Like we discount shit until we see it.
You're right.
Until someone makes it happen, we're believing that it's never gonna
he's just gonna have a Cardi B personality. We're gonna love him. It's gonna be great, right?
We're going to be like, sit your old ass the fuck down. Fuck is wrong with you?
He's gonna blow up off Instagram. He's gonna make some funny songs. He's gonna be the Lil AK to 50 verse.
He's going to be in our DMs after this fucking show. We keep talking
You're
about
right.
it. He's out there somewhere.
At Wayno something on
No, don't.
Instagram. I am Akademiks. I'm not on the internet. I think that's our
Little
show.
old head.
Little old head.
Old head.
Young old head.
All right, guys, check out the podcast tomorrow. And again, please send us your struggle exchange questions. We love taking those. Have an amazing weekend. We'll see you Monday on Everyday Struggle.
Peace.
Little old.
Little old head is hilarious.
I love that.
Fire.